Well, 9 o'clock, I guess. We know Teresa's not coming, so if we can stand for the pledge, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And with that, we will come to order. First item of business is the approval of the agenda.
I didn't see anything outstanding on it, so I move to approve.
Motion made and seconded to approve the agenda. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That's the approval of the previous minutes, being the board meeting, August 3rd, 2021.
I make a motion, we approve.
Motion made and seconded to approve the board meeting minutes from August 3rd. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. And the emergency board meeting, August 6th, 2021.
Short and sweet, I move to approve.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve the emergency board meeting, August 6th. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public comment. I don't see anybody but county employees on the screen. Anybody here want to make a public comment? Hearing none, we will move on. We do not have a COVID update. There's nobody from public health here. John's on vacation and nobody else is here. Next item of business is the consent agenda. 3 items on the consent agenda. Disclosure for the tax increment districts in Spring Grove. Hire Linda Ullman as probationary assistant custodian. And consider approval of resolution 21-36 for SIMCAC FHPAP Family Homeless Prevention Assistance Program.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to action items. Consider approving change order number 13 to add the pressure washer into Weezer's contract so they can coordinate and manage the installation for the highway facilities project. And consider approving change order number 14 for adding lights to the hoop sheds. Any questions? We have Chris here to explain. Brian's on vacation.
The pressure washer was not in the original plans.
Chris, you want to come forward?
Yeah, you gotta come.
Bid that we got for the pressure washer, you can't go over to Weezer. Change order basically just so they can coordinate the installation of it.
Okay.
With the gas and the electrical.
It's going to be housed in the mezzanine
Yes.
and then
All the other-
it's going to be piped over. So did they get that piping figured out? Yep. All right. Is there some concern about the piping, but
Because it'll go from another area to the wash bay.
they're going to have it in the mezzanine above the mechanic shop.
Okay.
And then it's going to be piped out to the wash bay because they didn't want to have it in the wash bay because of humidity and moisture.
And after they got it built, walk in there, it's like an echo chamber. So they have that thing and they run it.
It'd be just,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That means, oh,
So it's actually a separate little room up on top of this. So the air compressor and the pressure washer and everything will be in there. So it's something damping too. So.
yeah.
like you're saying, the electronics can be affected by the high humidity.
Yeah.
Eventually,
It's
yeah.
all stainless steel construction, but still to be basically in a swamp. So
I think the company, the pressure washer company said that it would be better if it wasn't in that environment.
well, this is just what we took care of the installation. Basically.
I just can thinking about, this 10%, they keep getting 10%. And it's, it adds up, but I just thought too that something like that was, you knew you needed it when you designed it, but it's Okay.
Probably no extra money, it's just having them installed.
No, they're charging 10%.
10%.
Yeah,
How much is that? Special?
$900.
Yeah, so it's not a lot, but it's,
It's just,
I know 900 here, 900 there, but
The next
it's
one
the big
down.
ones that really get me, but
yeah,
And then if you don't follow it, then something goes wrong. Well, we can take our advice and then we sit there.
You know, they got plumbing, the gas good, and electricity good, and all that stuff, and it's
okay.
their deal there too, so.
I don't see any problem. We need to have it done right, so I move to accept the, do we want these separated, Bob, each one, or both together?
I suppose we could.
The pressure
number
washer,
13.
13, the change order 13, I move.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded to approve change order of 13 for the pressure washer added in the Weezer's contract. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. 14 is the adding of the lights to the hoop shed. Did that come in at a price that was? There was an estimate that seemed kind of high. Did this come in better?
Brian did a bunch of checking out, he figures lights are, priced where they're supposed to be.
Okay.
Labor might be a little bit high. Site mount units, so. Cost less to do later. And they're,
And it was kind of an afterthought that,
Right.
hey, we need to have some lights up here for, I mean, they're loading in early morning or in the middle of night when they're plowing snow, and it'd be nice to have some light.
there's outside lights in the building, but it's quite a distance.
Yeah, and that was one of the questions I had at one of the meetings. Is, was there a yard light? Do we have a security light? Well, it is. They're over by the buildings on the outside of it, kind of, but it's too far away. So,
But I'd heard, wasn't the initial estimate pretty high and this is a little more reasonable?
that was something different.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Turn them off during summer.
Yeah.
Well, you get to the middle of October, then you're dark at 5:30. So I mean,
Start plowing 3:34,
yeah.
so.
This is gonna be like 4,500 or 5,000?
5,095.
5,095, yeah.
They need them. I move to approve change order 14.
I'll second that.
motion made and seconded to approve change order 14 for the adding of the lights to the hoop sheds. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris.
Next action item. Consider approving Matt Vetch to the Houston County Economic Development Board effective August 10th for a 3-year term.
Yeah, so Matt, he is a citizen, he works for the city of Hoka, and he is very interested in being on our EDA board. He came and introduced himself at the last meeting, and we think he'll be a good fit. And the EDA is recommending that you officially approve him to be on the EDA board.
What's his background or what does he do?
He works for the city of Hoka.
Okay.
In the street department and stuff.
Used to build houses with his dad before that.
Yeah, he
Yep.
came to our last meeting. He seemed like we get a good addition and another perspective and things. And
I'll make a motion to accept Matt Vetch's to the board.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve Matt Vetch to be added to the Houston County Economic Development Board effective August 10th, 21. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Next item, consider the historic courthouse steps contract. The low bid that I saw,
Was 4,300.
43,000.
Yeah.
Plus the stamping, was another 7,000. I think it came out to $50,500.
Mhm.
And that was with Fowler and Hammer, correct?
Correct. Quite a variation in those prices, weren't they?
Yes, it was.
Is Tess here?
How
or-
come the local bidders bid that?
Didn't like to meet, didn't want to meet the specs or didn't care for the specs or something. I don't.
Is Tess here? or-
Commissioners, I can give her a call on the extension, see if she's here, okay?
Okay,
What was our original project estimate? I mean,
I
was that right
believe
around
our
50?
then we have like $72,500, wasn't it 140?
Which one you're talking about?
The
The
step.
grant one or
The grant, and we had budgeted half.
half of it? It's
match.
half 70,000.
So 70,
Or
I want to
70.
say 72,000,
Yeah,
144.
yeah.
71, 72,000 is what we've got in the budget.
The grant, the total grant was gonna be 140 something, and I think that, trying to find a thing here, but the highest bid was 138, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, up on the bids here, it's 138 by, what was it? MACD, whatever that is. Pember is out of Menominee, Wisconsin.
Jesus,
They do a lot
Tess,
of
you
that
might as well
stuff.
come up. We're talking about the steps.
Yeah, yeah, just in time.
Just in time.
Yeah.
Must have record meeting.
We're moving along.
we're gonna be real close.
Dangerous thing to
I'm
say.
moving on.
Yeah. Okay,
So we're talking about the Fowler and Hammer bid of it's like $50,500 to include the stamping.
To include the stamp and the tinting.
50,600, okay.
I'm sorry.
An awful $100. Okay.
so, okay, thank you.
So all these companies, I'm only familiar with Fowler and Hammer.
Schwab is out of La Crosse, I thought, on
Yep.
Alaska. Pember is Menominee. I've done business with them, so they travel a long way for these public jobs. At MACD, I have no clue.
So why do you think there was no local contractors interested?
I'm not sure, Commissioner.
Isn't that huge one, or is it our specs maybe, or
Pardon me?
was it the specs, or is it that
Well, I
huge of a
think
job?
it is a major project. I'm not sure why they didn't, I have no,
No.
I can't even speculate as to why the local folks would not.
Too busy too.
So do you just put this up on an email or something and people will watch for it, or do you send?
It was posted in, I have to go back and look at the documents. I don't have them in front of me. It was
Oh,
posted
you don't
through
have
the web, through the site for posting. I was trying to think of the name of it. Have to ask Brian. It's posted on a site for contractors. We also put ran a local ad, and
In the
I
paper?
believe there was in our local paper, so there's a public notice in our official paper. And there was, so we also, I asked Red for those that have made some inquiry to Tina or anyone, to also anybody who network locally, to get the word out locally, as, informally as well.
I can't help but think, but the engineer and the drafting of the documents kind of scared off some of the local contractors on this project.
That may or may not be, that may be the case. We had Brian go through the documents. We had, Brian was, the county engineer was very helpful in both drafting or in the initial discussions with the firm that drafted the specs on it, as far as trying to get apples to apples and having all that. Brian was very instrumental in going through. He said it wasn't over-engineered. He was clear on that. He thought it was what it was that we needed, especially if we're looking at a structure, if you will, that will stand the test of time and be there for quite a while. So I relied on the advice of Brian as a engineer, but also then we relied on Craig Melker as an engineer, so, two such guys, professional such guys.
So when we originally were talking about the steps, we were going to go through the historical grant process to have keep it like stone. Top bid here of 138,000. And this is just for cement steps. I dare say the stone, if it was stone and historically accurate, it would have been quite a bit more.
In all likelihood, you're
Oh,
right.
by all means.
So
I don't know if that's accurate or not, Commissioner, because the time period was different. You know, construction costs are different now than they were months or even a year ago. Re-rod versus, solid stone slab. I don't know what that difference is. I think when we had the application for the grant is based on engineering estimates that are, they go out, they work with providers as far as vendors, they know the costs going in. We had to build in a 10% contingency on top of that. And so, but things have in the last few months, costs have gone up drastically. In many areas of construction.
The 138,000 is high, but $50,600 is what we're talking about.
Yep, that's the lowest bid.
That's the lowest bid.
And so we probably should just get it done and
We've been talking about it a long time.
It's a long
just
time,
get it
yeah.
done. I mean, hopefully they can start right away and
I'll make a motion to take that $57,000 estimate for the steps.
from Fowler and Hammer.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve the low bid of Fowler and Hammer for the historic courthouse steps of $50,600. Further discussion.
They're gonna get no cheaper, so wait.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'll provide you updates as we go along. I need to go look at the calendar, as far as the schedule. The contractors are all aware of the schedule and the time frame, so I expect that it stays pretty close to being on task. So long as they can get materials.
You had a question?
Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering, since they didn't, you guys did not choose the historic materials, is this gonna be on your budget instead of a grant?
Yes.
Yep.
But we had a match on the original, we had a match for the grant. So theirs was 71,000 something, ours was 71,000 something. So this is actually less than we had budgeted.
Right, you would have had to pay half of it still.
Right.
Yeah. Up to that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Next, updates. I went to the Preston groundbreaking for the new veterans home that they had yesterday. It was an impressive event, 250 people. It was a nice crowd. With speakers, I mean, the head of the Minnesota Veterans Affairs Office was there. The governor was there. Jeremy Miller, Greg Davids, Representative Hagedorn, and a whole bunch of people. Well, there was a lot of speakers.
No,
So it was a little over an hour before they got around to putting a shovel in the ground for the dig. But it was very impressive. The governor was happy to come down to be able to stand in mud for a change because it's so dry everywhere else. But it's going to be a nice facility. The mayor of Preston gave a nice welcome, and then the head of the Minnesota Veterans Affairs Office said his biggest problem now is going to be finding 100 employees to work at it. It's for 54 veterans. Well, I anticipate 100 employees, and finding 100 employees is gonna be a task.
And the other area nursing homes are worried.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
gonna be a wonderful facility, a great asset to Southeast Minnesota. Because it's nice, and it's one of the big points that they made was being here for Southeast Minnesota, people are a lot easier to be able to go and visit their relative, visit their family member, because they don't have to travel so far. And they're building 3 of them in the state, Bemidji here and out west, western half of the state. I don't know if it's Laverne. Someplace out west is getting them too. So they cut loose with that.
Good time to bring home all them troops in here.
Yeah.
Now, I did have a question. The DDA is doing a report today at 12:30 here in the commissioner's room. Is that,
No, DDA.
so I said DDA.
Okay.
But that's not for us.
Well, you could
Just
join,
right
you could sit in if you'd like, but yeah, it's for the employees to Tess, you can explain it.
Very general information session. The unions and employees have been asking about process and have had several questions about that. And DDA Tessa Melvin has agreed to provide Q&A opportunity, just an overview of their processes and
Kind of like the ones you did for us here that day. Similar.
similar. I mean, obviously.
That was the one for the insurance, right? That was here before. Is that what you were referring to?
Yeah.
And we'll record it for those who are not who aren't available today. It'll be,
It's on Zoom, right?
it'll be on Zoom.
So I can watch it at home.
But I think it's important for us to do that, as we had many questions from the labor representatives, and we got one message for all. On time, without anybody's welcome to show. Anticipate it'll go maybe a half hour unless there's a lot of questions. She'll have a PowerPoint available. She'll share.
But it's not something that we as a board are
It's a general
expecting to go to.
No, it's a general discussion on what the purpose of classification is, compensation study, a little bit about their methodology.
Thank you.
I planned on coming just because I'm on personnel committee. So
Teresa's
Teresa is
on
gone.
vacation.
So if someone else wanted to come, that'd be fine.
Okay. Then I keep getting these AMC fall conference. meeting
Policy time.
Policy. But we're going to the one in December. We don't really need to go to the policy one, right?
I wasn't planning on it, but
I mean, I'm on the transportation side of it, but I wasn't planning on going either.
yeah.
Okay.
So we should let Donna know that, I suppose.
Is this a educational thing or what? It's just.
It's to discuss on for future policy initiatives for the upcoming legislative year.
Oh, that's.
And all these all the committees decide on what they want to
Present.
push for. Yep.
Two other things I'll report. I talked to SEMCAC, Spring Grove, Houston, and the Crescent. SEMCAC and the Spring Grove, Houston, and the Crescent food shelves. As far as, we talked about that American Rescue Plan dollars. And if they had anything that they would need that would qualify for that. They don't know what qualifies or not. We're talking food. I don't know if we can use it to support buying food. That's the biggest need. Like Spring Grove said, they're about like a $350 budget, so they run on a shoestring. So I don't know if Allison, Carol. Hungry people, I don't know if it,
That's something we'll have.
Something we should look at and schedule a discussion for your board.
Okay.
I was at the meeting last night. They're gonna be sending Allison a complete list of their needs. And they're gonna try to keep them within the range that we can get, they get paid for them through the American Rescue Plan.
Yeah.
So
You're talking Semke.
Semcac's gonna be sending you some information on Caledonia site, Spring Grove site. There's like, they got a bunch of stuff they want to do a little fixing on here and there. So you're gonna be getting a complete asking list from Semcac within this week.
They should send that to us as a board or the county.
They said they were gonna talk to Allison and she can bring it to us. They figured she knows already.
Okay.
Their wish list type of thing, is that
Yeah.
what it is?
I know they want to do some work up here, Bob, on Caledonia's building.
They've got access issues as far as handicap accessibility because the door sticks. The door has a step, a small step, and it should be ramped. And the door they'd like to put in a door that you can push the button and the door opens automatic. Some of those access features, which I think would qualify for the and they have some interior things that are bad that they would like to do too. So
After last night, they're gonna be sending you a complete list of their needs and you can bring it to us and
we
see
can
where we
pick
can
it
go.
apart.
Do you want to know who talked to it? I said, we'll just go through Allison and then we'll take it to Allison.
Yeah.
It's stupid to go through me. I don't know the rules. and regulations and
I've got a smart trails meeting on Thursday for bike trails. That's all I got.
stuff. You ever get your porta potty down there at Butcher?
No,
Try to find a way to get. porta potty.
I think we might as well wait until spring and do it.
A lot of people down there. So I was Friday, I come by there and there was 2, 3 cars there. Do we have any garbage cans?
No.
Some garbage there. I picked up a couple and I gave them the cans.
All taken care of. Okay. That's all I've got. Dewey, what do you got?
Well, I had the Winlac meeting yesterday for the Winona La Crescent area watershed and a lot of discussion. I was gonna say that they have troubles with their hybrid too, trying to get their meeting going for Zoom and this and that. And we're fortunate to have Andy and his staff here because they had a heck of a time going on. But anyway, that was beside the point. It took them 15 minutes to get the thing started. They're still going forward with the program. This Bowser. And I'm not totally familiar with it, but they've got Houston Engineering on board. And I thought, oh, I didn't know they had one in Houston. It's Maple Grove, Minnesota. Houston Engineering, Maple Grove is the consultant on that. A lot of information coming out. They worked on a logo now. They're just this thing's going on there. So that was a couple of hours there, and then just this past weekend, La Crescent Fire Department had their 100th anniversary and chicken coo and street dance and chicken coo during the rain and dance got it done during the dry time Saturday night. Otherwise, pretty quiet up there. Lots of street flooding.
Don't have any houses coming out off the hill up there, did you?
No, but I had my backyard move on me. So, that's the first time it didn't do that in 07.
You guys got a lot of rain.
So there's a lot of moisture.
Well, you guys got 7 inches or better over there.
And yeah, it varied from the north end, like at the airport where they measure, and then up on the bluff where they measure, and the south side where they measure. They all vary by an inch or so, but it came down to, I had lakeshore property for a while. That's it.
Okay.
I had a water plan meeting last Thursday. And Dan touched on the fact that you had your WinLAC meeting and stuff like that. So he touched on that a little bit, what you guys discussed, and talked about the Houston engineering taking over that part of it. Not a whole lot of other information as far as that meeting goes. They had extension last Thursday night. I went to that, getting ready for the fair. Mike talked about Kendra's presentation and how good she's been doing for our intern for the year. So that was pretty informative. They're in need of people to help make pies for the fair. So I don't know, I volunteered Carol and Allison if they would help make some pies. But,
I am not a good
Earlier dressed.
There's a kind of a quiet silence.
They were looking at each other. Are they talking about us?
Well, the person that they were gonna hire to make the pies for the 4-H food stand had to cancel out because, first of all, she couldn't get the ingredients. Shortage of ingredients, fruit. Well, then, so Rebecca got a hold of the fruit, went to Snowpack, got a bunch of fruit for them, and then turns out her staff got COVID, and so she had to, it wasn't gonna work out. So
So what kind of pies do they gotta have?
fruit pies, like, blueberry, peach, and apple and all that stuff. So she was looking for people to help make the pies at the 4-H food stand before fair time. So that was her crisis situation. Yeah. Well, I told my wife when I got home that I volunteered, and she got the same reaction. I'm so funny, yeah. But anyway, that was, and like I say, she's been busy with getting ready for the fair, and everything's a go so far, and they're keeping their fingers crossed. So, and then we had, let's see, what else did I have? I think that was it. I had a Ask Me union meeting last week too. They didn't come back with any offers yet, counter offers. So, but they wanted to come to this meeting today to ask questions. So I did get an email this morning from Soil and Water from Dave. Did you get that?
Yep.
Yeah. And Rodney Peters from Dodge County has spread the word that they feel that counties in the Southeast District here should try to set some money aside for soil and water for some of these clean water projects for rescue plan dollars. So, and we've talked about it too.
Yeah. So in reading his, what's this ton of COVID funds? Is that the American Rescue Plan or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the rescue plan
It's
dollars.
just something different.
And there's a
Another
ton.
term
We got 3 million. So,
Another term.
and I don't know what Dodge got or whatever, but went on up. But oh yeah, another thing I wanted to mention too, because Dan brought this up. Well, actually, I read it too in an email, but Daryl Buck from Winona County Soil and Water is retired. And that kind of surprised me because he was the head honcho on the Root River watershed plan. So I asked Dan, I go, well, they're interviewing and trying to find a replacement. So we might be in limbo there for a fiscal leader on that. But Daryl was good. He was always on top of things, knew how things work. Kind of sad to see him go, but it's retirement time. So
One of the only names I recognized.
yeah, Daryl Buck. Yeah. Okay. We had a meeting, land use meeting this morning, committee meeting, and it was Eric Schmidt brought up about the idea of there's supposedly some talk about talking with Fillmore County on sharing a surveyor. Has that been discussed?
I'd heard that those conversations, but nothing.
Okay.
I think it's more a question of whether or not that works as far as Eric is concerned.
Yeah, and that was his concerns and questions too, but evidently Tess has been talking with Fillmore County about a shared position or a contract position, I should say.
I think Fillmore County contacted us.
Yeah. So. Everything else, Chris didn't have much to add. Mary's office was swamped yesterday. Kind of comes and goes, and you have a day where all of a sudden you get all kinds of calls, but.
When the current recorder's up.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Internet went down
Yeah.
for a while, and
Yep.
then some of her programs didn't come back up.
Mm-hmm.
So she had people that couldn't get into what they wanted to, and they were kind of upset.
Yep. And Amelia didn't have much to add either. She's still working her tail off there, so. But, I guess that's all I got right now.
Well, I think I kind of told you about SEMCAC and what else there to say, I guess. I was just wondering, is this the only handicap bathroom there is in this courthouse right here? Anybody know?
I'm not sure.
I think you might be, is there one?
The one down across from the auditor's office.
I was just referring, like this one here, if we had an employee that was in a wheelchair, he couldn't use this bathroom. You can't get in that little bathroom.
This one over here,
Yeah, I can't even really get in it with my walker.
really?
So
We have one down by the treasurer's office that has the button to open the door and.
Is it-
As an auditor's here, it was green. Fine. Check that one out.
on the first floor. Okay.
Cause I saw a sign when I came in that the handicap was on, and I didn't remember where it was, but I just thought, well, that's good that one's available.
Yeah.
I didn't know where it was.
So, but like this one up here, I know they say it's handicap, but you couldn't get a wheelchair in every try. Maybe that little one down at the door.
Yeah,
It's an idea if the rescue funds could pay for it, we can update them so you don't have to get a wheelchair in.
we could talk to Tess about that.
Yep.
She's a building maintenance foreman, so.
She's gone. Okay.
I think the issue there becomes, you've got to define space. This building is kind of hard to tear out a wall, move the walls.
Well, I mean, the only chance you got here, you got 219 on the other side. It might work there, but it might not work down there. I mean, you don't know how it's gonna fit in there.
Yeah,
I'll talk to Tess. I can talk to Tess.
You know, there might be a day we might be having somebody work here that's in a wheelchair. You know?
no, gotta make it ADA compliant, so.
Doesn't matter if they're working here, if the general public, somebody in a wheelchair comes in, it's a public facility. So,
Just an idea. I guess that's about all I got, I guess.
so is Dave Walters working on needs as far as the soil and water district?
I tried to talk to him last Thursday when I was at my water plan meeting, but he was gone, so I haven't had a chance to talk to him, but I talked to Crook Creek Watershed board members, Arlen Pullman and Dan Getzinger. And I informed them that they should come up with a number of future needs for future projects and what that would look like. And, let us know. But I haven't talked to the Bear
Sure.
Creek people or the Winnebago one.
Well, I think.
But I'm gonna-
Dave up here, Walters, he works with the Bear Creek. so-
Yeah, and I'm
I
gonna,
think he works with all of them, doesn't he?
yeah, so I'm still trying to contact him.
I talked to Bob Scanlon Wednesday night when we were grilling there, and I told him we want to get some figures for some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So I think they're working on it. It's just,
Sure. Maybe that's where this notice from Dave came from.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Anything else from you guys?
nothing's chasing me down for you. So-
We forget anything Allison?
One thing I gotta do is a closing public comment. Got a public comment coming in?
I don't think we want this one. I'll take him later.
So is there any public comment? I don't see anybody online. Anybody from the press got a comment? Otherwise, I guess we would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. Further discussion?
So we got workshop next week?
Correct,
Is
yep,
it regular meeting? Workshop.
workshop.